Lagers, Pilsners, India Pale Ales, double IPAs, Doppelbocks, Belgian Goldens. That's right, it's all here on another round of Brewsday Tuesday. Here's DreZ and Big Nate.
Brewsday Tuesday, round two of Foothills Brewing Company out of Winston-Salem, which I did venture to go to Winston-Salem, indeed. And in fact, it's quite interesting, the beer that I just popped. But first, let's start with yours.
So I've got the Festival Express. I think this is the one I've not had. It's an India Pale Ale. It's got a beautiful train on the front of it with a dove and just a very beautiful label. Juicy IPA that's loaded with citrusy hops, delivering delicious tropical and stone fruit flavors. Hop on board. 5.7% ABV, so they obviously want you to be able to see the whole damn festival. Is their goal.
Yes.
With that lower ABV.
A nice, we call it a session IPA. So I have also, of course, from Foothills, the Torch Pilsner. Bohemian Pilsner, it actually says on here. And I actually just now noticed, I'm certain I've had this beer before, but it's got like a Viking type looking dude on there. And his beard is actually like a flame, if you look at it the right way.
Oh my God, I've seen that label
exactly.
so many times. I've never noticed.
It wasn't until just now when I thought about the torch and the flame. Which, speaking of
label,
off the air just recently, between the segments there, you mentioned, speaking of torch, the Olympics is happening, and I remembered seeing a post. I haven't watched a single thing about the Olympics actually while we were at a brewery. Again, I'll get to this in a second, but they did have the opening ceremonies. They were all going down the river Seine, right, or whatever, yes, on those ships, on the little boats with all the different, countries representing the athletes. But I had saw a post. Somebody had said something like, "Oh man, they're going metal," and I didn't know. I was gonna jokingly comment like, "What, Slayer or something?" Like, to me, like, okay, well, how metal is the Olympics going to be? And it wasn't until you just told me that. Did you see Gojira play? I didn't. I had no idea.
Brutal,
dude. That is awesome. I have a new respect for the opening ceremonies at the France Olympics.
Easily one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I mean, they hit like, I would call that a Rammstein level spectacle. And they only were given like a minute 57. Not enough. No. I wanted more of that. To hell with the sports.
No, that's epic as hell. And it's funny. So again, we were talking about this, and you were saying they had this sort of just, I guess just in general, this theme of the French Revolution. And you described it as, what was the word you used?
Incendiary.
Which happens to be the brewery that I went to at Winston-Salem.
It all ties.
So that's the brewery that I really like. I was looking at the scores. I was like, clearly this is the one I wanted to go to. It's got the pizza joint right next to it. And it also kind of goes in with the flames there. So yes, Incendiary was the main brewery I wanted to hit in Winston-Salem. I didn't go to Foothills. I'm like, that's a big boy. I've had a lot of their beers. It probably would have been a cool one to go to because, you could probably do like a tour there and everything, but I wasn't so worried about that. But we went to Incendiary, and I'll be damned if those beers weren't delicious. I was kicking myself because I'm an idiot and I didn't bring a cooler. Otherwise, that is certainly the beer we'd be drinking right now, because I couldn't recommend it more. The Incendiary, their IPAs were off the charts. They also had some sours that BB really enjoyed. Barrel aged stuff as well. That was quite good. So yes, definitely check them out. And again, it's right next to this awesome, because they don't serve food or whatever. They got like, you can get some pretzel chips or whatever, but it's right next to a great, I wish it was right next to a great pizza joint, which at that point we had pizza, or no, we were going to have pizza the following day at a brewery. So we're like, well, we don't want to do the same thing twice. So we tried to go to get some sushi. BB likes her sushi, but it was, I think, 4:49 p.m. and they didn't open till 5. We walk in, the staff is all just sitting around like, oh no, we're not open
yet. It's always
a
good sign.
It's like, okay, well, I guess we'll circle the block and come back. But we didn't go back. We took the advice of some of the locals about they're like, oh, you're going to Winston-Salem? We're like, oh yeah, where's a good place to eat? So we ended up heading to Camel City Barbecue, which was conveniently near the next brewery I wanted to go to. So it was on the way. It worked.
You can never go wrong with barbecue.
Especially down in North Carolina. Now, let me tell you about Camel City Barbecue. First things first, it was quick. Now, granted, it was like 5 o'clock or a little after 5, maybe, so before a dinner rush or anything, but I couldn't believe how fast our order was ready. We walked up, we ordered, we sat down, and pretty much within, I'm not even kidding, 2-3 minutes of sitting down, we had our pulled pork barbecue nachos, which were ginormous. I mean, this thing, the nachos were, it was like 2 huge handfuls full. I mean, and it was stacked.
Now,
Phenomenal.
were they using pickled or fresh jalapeno?
Probably pickled. I prefer pickled, honestly.
So I found
It might have been fresh. Now that I'm thinking about,
I love fresh
take a picture.
jalapeno, but fresh jalapeno goes on burgers, pickled goes on nachos.
Yeah, I think it was pickled. I can't quite remember, but we also got the brisket platter with fried okra.
Oh,
And I didn't even know it came with hush puppies, but it had hush puppies as well as what was the other side we got? Fried okra. Oh, and sweet potato tots. I'm such a sucker for sweet potato tots. All of it was great and very plentiful. Like, I mean, both of those orders, it was, I mean, 20 some bucks, and we were full. I mean, full walking out of there. So that was great. So Campbell City, great recommendation, and I passed that recommendation along. Then we went to Fiddle and Fish Brewing. Yeah, not my favorite. It wasn't as good. But the cool thing about Fiddle and Fish, they had, one of those old cigarette vending machines in there.
we were just talking about one of those before you left.
Oh yeah,
Do you know? I was talking about your gumball machine. I was like, we got to find you a cigarette vending machine. I don't know what we'd put in there, but
well, I'll tell you what they put in there. So I guess there's probably 20, 10 at the top, 10 at the bottom. And each one is a different like artist, and they, find something to fit in there. So whether it's one of them was like, earrings, one of them was a guy that's a wood crafter and he had keychains. One of them was, some type of drawing. Like it was all just like some type of artisan, $5. You don't know what you're really going to get, but it was kind of cool. We didn't get any of them.
I like
but
that. That is
yeah, I like the
Another
idea.
one you could do. I mean, you're in a brewery. If you don't have an artist, you just throw some decks of cards in there. Who doesn't
Cards.
love playing cards at the brewery?
Yeah, cards aren't a bad idea at all, for sure. In fact, speaking of, so we went to, there was another brewery we went to. In fact, we stayed there. There's a most recent brewery I went to. We were doing the RV thing. We did a harvest host on the way back to break up the drive a bit. Didn't go, it was only like 20 minutes up the road, but we went to Eden, North Carolina, where we stayed at Reynolds Brewing. Reynolds also, again, does the brick fire or was wood oven brick. What is it?
Brick oven pizza.
Brick oven pizza. So that's why we didn't want to get the pizza the day before. But man, that pizza was phenomenal. That was probably the best pizza we had the whole trip. Beer, meh, it was all right, but they had a great game selection there. I mean, they had Catan, Sequence, a lot of our favorites. And then I'm like, well, we don't want to play. So I opted, they had a little trivia game. So I was like, okay, well, we'll play a little trivia while we're drinking some beer and doing that. The other thing that was nice, it was very reasonably priced. I got a flight I just ordered 2 flights because that way I could try all their beers. I only had 8. In fact, 3 of them were seltzers, but it was the flight of 4 was only $7.50. Every other flight I had been buying this entire time was like 12, 13 bucks for it's like, this is not worth it. These, I don't like that.
No, sampler should be like $7. That's
it's great.
Because the theory with that is then you're going to go and actually order a pint of drink,
which
and then they're gonna
the favorite, yeah,
they're already gonna make up the difference.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I was like, man, this flight is only $7.50. And that was 4 5-ounce pours. So I'm like, I don't know what they're charging for their regular 16-ounce pint, but if it's anything more than like $5, I might as well just go
Yeah.
ahead and
Keep getting the
just-
flights.
let me get a flight of all 4 of the IPAs.
And could you give me a big glass? We're not going to talk about it.
But oh man, in a growler fill, 64-ounce growler fill, $12.
It's a hell of a bargain.
Yeah, not too bad. So hit up Reynolds. They had
Get their pizza.
definitely get the pizza. They had a jalapeno
Mm.
something seltzer. And I don't know, I can't believe it. It actually had the calories as well as the ABV on the menu of all their beers and seltzers. And there was 2 seltzers that they said were 0 calories. Now, I find that I can't believe that. That's not possible, right?
Shouldn't be. I mean, you have to assume if there's alcohol in it, there's at least some calories.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not
I don't buy it.
and also all of the like I think the most calories out of like even the IPA and stouts, I think it was like 207. So I don't know if I'm trusting their calorie count.
Their calorie counter is not working.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But so we stayed there, then we went for a nice little run the day before or the next day on through the city of Eden as well as the Greenway. But yeah, it was a nice little stay, man. We went through we did a couple different little hikes, went through a nice little garden, the Bog Garden
Wait.
in Greensboro.
Garden of Eden. Oh, you were in Greensboro. I was say if you were in Eden, the Garden of Eden.
No, that was not in Eden. They might have had one somewhere else, but the American Red Cross sure does like calling me. They like
They
my
want your blood.
They want my blood so bad. And it's funny because for the longest time it would just their number was under suspicious, so I never answered it. But now it comes up as American Red Cross and I just don't
Well, I'm
answer.
glad they got that fixed.
I don't mind. I'll donate, but it's just like, man, they always want me to go to Blacksburg or something, man. It's like make it convenient for me.
Do some blood drives in this area.
Do
That's all I'm
a
asking.
blood drive
I will go.
that's convenient, that has parking. Like, I mean, they want me to go on campus at RU. Where am I going to park?
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, like.
No, I've run into the same thing.
Mm.
I will gladly give you my blood, but you should really, I don't know, try and make it a little more convenient for me.
Come on. I mean, come on. All right. Well, we digressed a little bit, but yeah. So that was my trip to North Carolina. It was pretty good. We did bring the cats in the RV.
Yes,
We brought the cats out.
How well did that go?
It went fairly well. They don't like when it's moving, and one of them is actually pretty fine with it. The other one really has been struggling. So it's been an effort. It's been an effort. But once we get them there and they settle in, they seem to like the RV
You
pretty
do
good.
it again.
Yeah, we probably will.
Then it didn't go that bad.
Our next RV, like we're not going to do another like long RV trip for I don't even know when, but we do have like kind of a weekend planned in August. So we'll probably bring them then.
Yeah.
See how they fare.
It's good for the cats to get out. They need to see places.
Yeah. Well, we can't
You
let
got them on an RV trip.
We did. And we can't let them outside where we live because it's just too risky. So I think they like being outside. It's just a grass buffet. They just eat grass.
Yep.
They love it.
They throw up afterwards?
I don't think
Because
so.
Moose will get grass.
I think that's the
He'll sit
point.
there and like eat a bunch of it, and then he'll just vomit. It's like, dude, this upsets your stomach. Why are you doing this?
Well, I think it's
He does the same thing with green onions. Like,
isn't it a way to try and they're supposed to try and get up the fur balls?
Yeah.
Is that what they're trying to do?
That's what they're trying to do. And I mean, I guess in Moose's case, though, it's never a hairball coming up. It's like the grass and then like whatever food he's eaten recently. That cat's got some stomach issues anyway.
Either way, so there you go. I would highly, highly recommend Incendiary Brewing out there. They also have a location in Raleigh, and one other place is opening up. I can't remember, but great beer. I was at the original location, which also, the original location is fantastic. It's an old like power plant or something. And the way they got their name was where they are in that building that's been repurposed. There's a bunch of businesses there, but they're in the boiler room. So that's why they go
I like
by
that.
Incendiary. So there's a little fun fact for the day. Again, I wish I had their beer to drink, Also, Reynolds, they don't, they're a smaller operation. They didn't can or anything.
Taking these flights to go.
So I did the best I could. I got a Foothills variety pack, which ain't too shabby though. I'm not gonna lie. This again, I'm not a big Pilsner fan. I like Pilsners mainly to go with food. So if I'm gonna be eating dinner and I want a beer that I feel like can be nice and light and go with it, this would be a great beer to go along with pizza right here. It's a balanced beer made with Czech Saz hops. Torch Pilsner presents a well-structured, highly drinkable Pilsner experience, 5.3%. It's just decent, just a decent Pilsner. Again, not my favorite, so you can take that with a grain of salt. I'll give it a 3.75.
So I mean, Jade IPA is still going to sit my top. This Festival Express, though, this would be good. I mean, they named it pretty appropriately. If you're at a festival and you want like a session IPA, I think this is really solid. I think you get your foot in the door at a festival, which I'm sure they probably did. I just haven't had it yet. Damn good beer would go down light on a hot day. I'm going to go ahead and give this 4.25, strictly because I'm putting it in that mind frame. If you handed this to me without a label, without context of what it's supposed to be, it's a 4. It's still damn good.
Nice. So I brought this one back to mainly talk about the trip because we went to Winston-Salem and stuff. I did get some other beers while I was there at Ye Old Total Wine.
Yeah.
It's nice when I get to go around where there's a Total Wine. Although honestly, the selection was a little bit lackluster, but I did find some other stuff. So I'm guessing we'll probably drink some of that next week. We'll see. Maybe something else will pop up, but chances are it's that. I got a few shows in the hopper, no pun intended. And so we'll see. We'll see where we go from there. But that's a wrap on Brewsday Tuesday. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll let good old K-Dog take over, who's filling in for JT
buddy.
this week. I was gone last week. JT's gone this week. You're gone next week, right?
No, I'm
you
here.
you can't take any vacation
I'm here.
because we're doing all that. But yes, Kyle is filling in, and he will be up next right here on 105.3 The Bear. Stick around. /. See you.